Hello knitters, I'm here to demonstrate you something new. I love to say that I was born and raised and always knitted the Portuguese style and never knitted another way until I came to this country. I also brag that you can do anything you want Portuguese style as I have always done. However, this week I had a request and someone asked me to demonstrate how to do the Latvian braid using the Portuguese style. And I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that's one of the things it's not really possible to do Portuguese style, and I'll show you why. However, I will show you how to do Latvian braids, okay? So let's go and start following me. To do the Latvian braids, you need to do what they call a setup row. You need to put the colors in order so you can produce this beautiful braid. And I have one done here so I can show you what this looks like. It's a braid. You can do in one color only, or you can do in two colors. It doesn't matter. You need two pieces of yarn to do this. So I decided to do in a two color. And here I have it in brown and blue. It's really a beautiful pattern. And the Latvian use those to decorate the cuffs of mittens, or in this case a hat. There's so many uses for it. I will show you how to do the setup row using the Portuguese style knitting. And because the braid is facing the public side of the hat, in my case, I am going to knit around. So now I'm going to show you how to knit with the public side facing and show you how to do the setup row. I have two pins, one on each side, one on my left shoulder, one on my right shoulder. I have the two colors, the light colors now on my left shoulder and the darker color on my right on my right side. Both of the yarns are tensioned around my middle finger on each hand. And here we're going to start by knitting one with the blue, knitting one with the brown. And that's the setup row. You're going to take turns between the two colors. Knit one with the blue, knit one with the brown. And the colors are going to cross and uncross. See, when I knit with the blue travels over the brown. This travels under. If you look on the non-public side, see, the brown travels under, the blue travels over. That's gonna decide who is the dominant color or non-dominant color. But let's keep going. Since this is 1-1 pattern, here I have one brown, one blue, and I'm knitting all the way around the hat. Up here I caught two colors at the same time. Here, blue and brown and blue and brown. So I think that's one of the really few exceptions for the Portuguese style that is not really an advantage or not even possible to do. It's like intarsia. If you know the technique of intarsia where you make a picture on your knitting, unfortunately there's nothing that will make it better if you use Portuguese style knitting. For the setup row, yes. And I'm showing you here how I do it. Okay, I have to check myself here once in a while. One blue, one brown. We're almost getting there. Here I split the yarn. Gonna fix that. Blue and brown. So I don't know, all the other techniques, totally possible and totally better, I think, to do using this method of knitting, but not the Latvian braid. You also have to keep in mind when you talk about different ways of casting on, or binding off. There's not much that you can do that changes with Portuguese style, because casting on means putting the stitches on the needle. It doesn't matter what style do you use to knit. If you're talking about the Portuguese cast on, yes. But if you do the Italian cast on, for example, it doesn't matter if you're knitting Portuguese, English, or German. None of the methods are really applied to the cast on, to putting stitches on the needle. And unfortunately for the Latvian braid, maybe because it's Latvian, it doesn't apply. But the setup row is almost done. I'll show you here when we start working the braid. The collars are unfortunately going to twist around each other until you go back and work the second part of the braid. Almost done. I think I have 96 stitches here, which is usually what I cast on for a hat. So after my demo, I can come up with a hat here. All right, coming to the end of the round. Blue and brown, blue and brown, blue and brown. Last one, brown. Okay, slip the beginning of the round marker to the other side. And now it's the part that unfortunately I cannot do using Portuguese. So I'm taking away from my shoulders, and I'm gonna start working the braid 2 collars. You are going to, with the yarn in front, bring both yarns in front, separating here for you to see. Purl the brown, purl the blue with the blue. Leave it. And now the brown comes under the blue in order to purl the next stitch. And now the blue comes under the brown to purl the stitch. And I'm using pretty much what you would say English style knitting. The story is that the braid is made by picking one color under the other. So you're going to see that my collars in a little bit, see, they start twisting around each other because you're twisting as you work the stitches. Always pick one under the other. And so on. I'm gonna meet you again at the end of the round, okay? I'll repeat 2 more. Purl with the blue. Now get the brown under and purl with the brown. And here it is. See how the colors twist around each other? That's why I cannot put on the pin. It's gonna be so hard to work with that. So again, keep doing that. I'll meet you at the end of the round. Okay, we're back. I finished the first part of my Latvian braid, and I want to show you what happens when you cross one color under the other. Like I was saying, I cross the blue under the brown and the brown under the blue. Always under, under, under. You make the braid, the half part of the braid. When I finish the braid, you're going to see that the braid looks like an arrow, and my arrow is pointing to the right. If you start the round, instead of crossing under, crossing over, the braid would be facing the other way. Now I'm going to do the second part of the braid, and maybe this is going to make more sense to you, okay? So I slip my marker, And here is the reason why we cannot do this Portuguese style. See what happens when you are twisting one color under the other, under the other, under the other, they twist around. And it becomes hard to work, I understand that. So you have to pull more yarn towards the skein, and that, you know, gives you more room to work with. But nothing to worry about, because now on the second part of this braid, as you cross the colors one over the other, they're going to untwist. So it's a little bit harder to begin, but now we are going to pick up this blue. Let me give myself some room to work here, and that's what happened. They twist, so I have to untwist a little. But you're going to get the purl stitch, the blue, and purl with that. Now you're going to get the brown over the blue. See the blue down, put the brown on top. And now bring the brown down, blue on top. Put the blue down, purl with the brown, and so on. And what happens is, by the time I finish the round, this is going to be completely untwisted. It's beautiful. You have to take your time, but it will be completely untwisted. And I think, again, the braid is really pretty. It's worth the time. It's just 2 rounds. The setup round was easy, right? We can do Portuguese style. But the braid itself, you have to do 1 stitch at a time. So I do the blue, put the blue down, bring the brown over the blue. Now the blue over the brown, and so on. And when you finish, I'll do 2 more. It's beginning to untwist, getting looser up here. I promise, when you finish the round, this is gonna be all untwisted. So let's stop and see the braid forming. See? I work for the beginning of the round here, and I have 2 braids going to the same direction because I did the same process. First round, second round, crossing the colors over. And here it is. I think it's very pretty. I think, again, it's worth your time. Sorry to disappoint you if you cannot use the yarns over the pins and do Portuguese style, but for the setup row you can. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and keep sending me the requests, okay? I'll see you later.